Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you are all doing great and preparing well. So welcome to the another session of UGC Net English Literature. In this video, as you can see on the screen, I have brought the Unit 8 Literary Criticism, that is the part of your syllabus. We have finished Unit 7, the last unit which was cultural studies, and today we have to finish the literary criticism. So in this video you will see the concepts, term, important writers in chronological manner, and important MCQs. Okay, so what is literary criticism? Before starting the class, I would request you to do like, share, and subscribe the channel. And if you have not pressed the bell icon, do press for the latest informations and updates also. Okay, and also join the Telegram channel to get the PDF and notes. So here I have brought the concept of literary criticism. In this video we will study today. So now tell me, according to you, what is criticism? Criticism, that means criticizing. When you judge somebody's work on the basis of their own perspective, you analyze, you evaluate. This is what criticize means. So in this manner, in the English literature, the writers, the theorists, the different persons of the different ages started judging the work written by the other writers, and that judgment that was based on their own opinion. By putting some inputs and highlights, they also thought that this work is not as per the society, this is not good, this is bad. So this is what they define in literary criticism, and we study. So here I have brought the step by step meaning of literary criticism. Literary criticism is the systematic study, evaluation, and interpretation of literature written by writers around the globe. That means I have written the work, I have written this, I have maintained, I have created this PDF step by step on the basis of my own perspective. I have put my own opinion, what I have studied so far, what I have understood. So this is based on my understanding. But what you have to do, you will judge this, that no, there is something wrong, this is not the correct way that ma'am has brought us, that ma'am is teaching us. So you will judge this, right? You will judge this on basis on your own perspective. You will put your own opinion, your thought, and that will become criticizing. So this is what the writers of this in this unit they have done. So this is interpretation of literature written by writers around the globe. It is a systematic study, evaluation, and interpretation. Analyzation you can't forget. So this is the literary criticism that we study in this unit 8. Understand now? That means judging somebody's work on the basis of their own perspective. You are putting your own thought, you are putting your own opinion, you are judging the work as per the perspective of society, that this work is not good for society, this is not the correct way to write. And also what it involves analyzing a literary work's structure, its meaning, its style, and its social, moral, historical, and philosophical implications. Also, literary criticism seeks to uncover deeper meanings, assesses artistic quality. This is very important. What quality the writer have put in the work, if they have written something, that quality is judged by the critics. And also a place a work within its cultural context. Now you understood that what is literary criticism. This is a difficult topic, you must understand. Also, it provides readers with tools to engage deeply with text. Different times in different ages the writers started coming. They have started judging the work on the basis of their own thought, putting their own inputs, and some of them thought that reader should be implied with the text. They should find the meaning of the text while reading the text inside and deeply. So it also shapes how literature is understood and valued across generations. From that generation till now, how we are judging the text, how we are analyzing the text, and how we are able to find the meaning just by reading the text. Okay, so this is what literary criticism means. Also, it has evolved from classical inquiries from the very beginning into the nature of poetry and drama to modern schools of thought shaped by various schools like, do remember, classical, neoclassical, romantic, Victorian, modern, postmodern, including structuralism, post-structuralism, Marxist, feminist, psychoanalytic, and post-colonial approaches. Also, this simply means that this simply considers various aspects of literature, including historical, social, and political context, is going to be judged in the literature that is called literary criticism. Now we know the written work is being judged by the other person by putting their own thought, perspective, point of view, opinion. That is what literary criticism means. Now I will discuss the chronological way of how from ancient till modern era criticism happens or took place. So in the classical age, very first the criticism started. You can see ancient Greece to Rome. In the classical age, first we have Plato in his work The Republic condemned poetry as imitation. That is also known as mimesis. Mimesis, that means to copy or to imitate, and misleading. This is what Plato thought, but Aristotle in his work Poetics praised poetry for its cathartic and structured value, focusing on tragedy and unity. So there is a conflict between both of them, Plato and Aristotle. Plato's opinion was different and Aristotle's opinion was different. So it is also happens and judgment took place when the two persons perspective do not match, right? If I am liking the work and you are the person that you are not liking but analyzing by making some changes and highlighting the loopholes, so that will be your own opinion. After this, in the same era, we have Horace. In his work Ars Poetica, what did he say? He argued that poetry should be dulce et utile. This is the uh, thought he said. That means it means sweet and useful. This simply defines poetry should both instruct and delight. Who said? Horace. In which work? Ars Poetica. Understand? Okay, let's move on. In the same era, we have another writer, that is Longinus. On his work on the sublime, what did he say? He emphasized the emotional impact of great literature. That means in his work on the sublime in the first century, he emphasized, he pressurized, he stressed that emotional impact of, that means literature, if you are studying, it has great impact. Literature has great impact on your emotion. This is what Longinus said. Okay, next age we have Renaissance. In Renaissance, you can see here, during the Renaissance, Philip Sidney's An Apology of Poetry. In 1595, he defended poetry's moral and imaginative value. By writing this an apology for poetry, he defended poetry's moral and imaginative value. Another writer we have Ben Jonson's Timber and Discoveries in 1641. He promoted classical imitation and literary decorum. Also, from the neoclassical perspective, if we have to see the neoclassical age, there is a writer John Dryden's an essay of dramatic poesy that was in 1668. He explored critical dialogue among classical and modern drama. This is what he had found. And another writer, Alexander Pope's an essay on criticism in 1711, he promoted harmony, decorum, and balance in the poetry. Now you understood. Now I have put the important thoughts, opinion, and the work as per the ages and the writers what they have thought, and they have given their perspective according to the literature they have judged. Next, Samuel Johnson from the same era, that is neoclassical, he in his preface to Shakespeare, that is from 1765, he highlighted Shakespeare's universality and realism. This is what Samuel Johnson thought. Now another age we have, Romantic age. Romantic age, that was from 1798 to 1837. The Romantic age brought emotion and imagination to the forefront. William Wordsworth, in his work Preface to the Lyrical Ballad, he emphasized simple language, emotion, and nature. This is what Romantic age defines. The language should be simple, emotion should be prioritized, and nature should be there. Another writer we have S.T. Coleridge. In his work Biographia Literaria 1817, he introduced key concepts like primary and secondary imagination and organic unity. Do remember, it's very important. Everything I have mentioned in this PDF is very important. Highlighted everything. By chance, if I could have based, so this is what they thought. St. Coleridge, Biographia Literaria, into key concepts like primary and secondary imagination and organic unity. Next age we have, in the Victorian age, what other writers thought. In the Victorian age, Matthew Arnold's The Function of Criticism at the Present Time, in this work 1865, he promoted disinterested and moral criticism to uplift culture. Understand now? Every writer has put their own thinking, their own opinion for the work, that this should happen, this should not be happen, what would be the morality, what would be the virtues, what would be the value, and how this and how all this is going to be beneficial for the society. Okay, move on to the next age. Next age we have modern age. Modern age. In the modern age, T.S. Eliot tradition, in his work Tradition and the Individual Talent, that is in 1919, argued for impersonality in poetry and the role of tradition. One of my video I told you tradition and the individual talent, what T.S. Eliot suggested or analyzed, he has put their thought. That means we should not only just focus on the traditional talents. That means we should not copy the traditional writers, but instead we should also showcase what we have got, what the talent we have got, what the skills we have got. So this is what T.S. Eliot said in the Tradition and the Individual Talent. I.A. Richards, very important critics, he gave practical criticism and also principle of literary criticism in 1929. He focused on close reading and the psychology of reader response. He told the audience, he suggested the audience, the readers, that the focus should be on close reading of the text instead of focusing on the background of the authors, writers, or anything else. You should, if you want to understand the meaning of the text, you just have to close reading. Next we have Clint Brooks. In the well-wrought urn, in this work that was in 1947, he developed new criticism that is very important. He emphasized irony, paradox and unity in the text. In new criticism, if the question arises that who emphasizes irony, paradox and unity in the text, you have to choose the Clint Brooks in the work The Well-Wrought Urn. Next we have structuralist and archetypal criticism, mid 20th century. In this Northrop Frye's Anatomy of Criticism 1957, he outlined literary archetypes and modes of storytelling. Roman Jacobson, we have in Linguistic and Poetics, what he said. He said he highlighted the role of language structure in shaping literary meaning, that language plays important significant role in shaping the literary meaning. This is what Roman Jacobson said. Next one we have post-structuralism and postmodernism, that is late 20th century. In post-structuralism and postmodernism, the writer we have the very important Jacques Derrida of grammatology in 1967. He introduced deconstruction and the instability of meaning. Concept he has given deconstruction, difference, instability of meaning. This concept they has given that the word, sentence and meaning differ from each other. This is what he said. Next one we have Roland Barthes. Roland Barthes in his work The Death of the Author, he said that he shifted focus from authorial intent to the reader interpretation. That simply means textuality over authorial intent, reader as a meaning maker. That means reader creates meaning. This is what Roland Barthes thought. Next one we have Michael Foucault in What is an Author in 1969. He examined the author as a function of discourse. Now we understood now how they have put their opinion in the mentioned work. So this is the literary criticism you have to study. I am putting everything as though your exam is near. After the exam will be over, I will highlight every writer as per their work concept step by step. So do not need to worry, just practice after that MCQs. So next one we have very important. Now we have feminist, Marxist and post-colonial criticism also in late 20th century. In this, what they have highlighted, the critics shaped contemporary theory. Alan Sholter, a literature of their own in 1977, she mapped the female literary tradition and the concept she gave was gynocriticism. Gynocriticism, what she said that the female writer's work should not be judged by a male writer. If the female critics will judge the female writer's work, that will be different from the what the male writers have given their opinion. So this is what their point of view on feminist criticism, gynocriticism. And the next one we have Edward Said's Orientalism, very famous. He critiqued the West's construction of the East. Terry Eagleston's Literary Theory and Introduction in 1983, he analyzed literature as ideology. Gayatri Spivak's Can the Subaltern Speak in 1988, she discussed the silencing of marginalized voices. Silencing of marginalized voices, that means the people who belong to the lower category, their voice were not heard by anyone. And the next important writer we have Homi K. Bhabha. The Location of Culture in 1994, he introduced hybridity and mimicry in post-colonial discourse, and the concept he gave very important: hybridity, ambivalence, mimicry and post-colonial theory. Ambivalence was in the question appeared in 2023 June or December exam, and hybridity is also important and mimicry is also very important. These three concepts were by Homi K. Bhabha are most important, always appear in the exam, so do remember. I hope you have understood that what is the literary criticism. and why we judge the literature, what is the significance of judging the work. Simply remember that criticizing means to judge. Give your own judgment, put your own thought, give your own opinion. Criticizing some other's work by putting your own analyzation. So now let's practice MCQs from the work and the concepts you have just understood. I hope you will find the correct answer. So the first question I have brought here: poetry should both instruct and delight is the idea of option A Longinus, B Horace, C Sidney, and D Johnson. What could be the correct answer, everybody? Try to guess and find the correct answer if you have just understood. I know this is okay. So what could be the correct answer? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the, I just told you, from the ancient Greece and Rome, this topic poetry should both instruct and delight. This was the idea of Horace, right? Idea of Horace. Let's move to the next question. Now, who wrote poetics and introduced the concept of catharsis? Catharsis. Option A Plato, option B Aristotle, option C Horace, and option D Longinus. Who could be the correct answer? Catharsis, hamartia. Who could be the correct answer? So the correct answer with this question is going to be the option B Aristotle. He focused on 6 elements of tragedy: plot, diction. Next question. Next question you have, which of the following is a work by William Wordsworth that contains his ideas on poetry? Option A Biographia Literaria, option B Preface to Lyrical Ballad, option C Essay on Criticism, and option D The Well-Wrought Urn. William Wordsworth, that contains his ideas on poetry. The few initial questions are easy, so we do not have to waste that much time on each question. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option B Preface to the Lyrical Ballad. Let's move on to the next question. Next question you have, who emphasized the impersonality of poetry in tradition and the individual talent? Option A I.A. Richards, option B T.S. Eliot, option C John Dryden, and option D Clint Brooks. What could be the correct answer, everybody? So the correct answer, the tradition and the individual talent just discussed, and you must have remembered the none other than T.S. Eliot. Impersonality of poetry in the work in tradition and individual talent is emphasized by Eliot. Next question. Which critic coined the term sublime in literary aesthetics? Option A Aristotle, option B Plato, option C Longinus, and option D Sidney. What could be the correct answer on the sublime? This should be. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C Longinus. Okay, move on to the next question. Next question you have, which of the following works is written by Clint Brooks? Clint Brooks. Practical Criticism. Next option. The Well-Wrought Urn, Biographia Literaria, and Anatomy of Criticism. You have to tell that Clint Brooks works that he has written. Which work he has written? The correct answer of this question is option B, The Well-Wrought Urn. This is the work written by him. Next question. Next question you have, Samuel Johnson's preface to Shakespeare is primarily known for advocating option A romantic imagination, option B neoclassical decorum, option C universal human nature in drama, option D feminist literary tradition. Now this question is tricky. In Samuel Johnson's preface to Shakespeare is primarily known for advocating which of these options? So the correct answer of this question is option C, universal human nature in drama. This is what he suggested in his work. Next question. Next question you have, who among the following introduced the concept of secondary imagination? Option A, Wordsworth. Option B, S.T. Coleridge. Option C, Matthew Arnold. And option D, T.S. Eliot. Concept of secondary imagination, primary and secondary imagination, and organic unity. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option B, that is S.T. Coleridge. Move on to the next question. Which critic pioneered close reading and response analysis in practical criticism? Practical criticism. This is very important. Option A, Northrop Frye. Option B, I.A. Richards. Option C, Terry Eagleton. Option D, Michael Foucault. What could be the correct one? Practical criticism pioneered close reading and response. The correct answer of this question is option B, I.A. Richard. Okay, he gave the theory of practical criticism in 1929. Also, principle of literary criticism is by him. Next question. Next question you have. The death of the author is a foundational text of option A, Marxist criticism, option B, feminist criticism, option C, deconstruction, and option D, post-structuralism. The death of the author is a foundational text of which genre, which period? So the correct answer of this question is option. Correct answer of this question is going to be the option D, that is post-structuralism by Roland Barthes, the death of the author. Next question. Who introduced the concept of gynocriticism in feminist literary studies? Option A, Gayatri Spivak. Option B, Alan Sholter. Option C, Judith Butler. And option D, Julia Kristeva. I will bring you the more tricky questions from this unit because this unit is very important. These are the questions that are based on the concepts you just understood. Don't worry, there is some tricky questions you will face. So who introduced this concept? Gynocriticism, none other than option B, Alan Sholter. Next question. Northrop Frye's Anatomy of Criticism outlines which of the following frameworks? Option A, theories of the signifier. Option B, modes and mythoi of literature. Option C, reader response theory. And option D, Orientalist discourse. Now this question is tricky. What could be the correct answer? Northrop Frye's Anatomy of Criticism. Let's see the correct answer. So the correct answer of this question is option B, modes and mythoi of literature. I think there is some spelling error, I think. Next question, everybody. What concept did Derrida introduce in of grammatology? Option A, structural analysis. Option B, hybridity. Option C, difference. And option D, historicism. What concept he introduced in his work Grammatology? Jacques Derrida. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. Let me finish this. Option C, difference. Next question. Next question you have, in Can the Subaltern Speak? Spivak critiques the inability of option A, the working class to organize, option B, the West to represent the East, option C, subaltern voices to be heard in dominant discourse, and option D, language to convey meaning. Can the subaltern speak? I have already discussed many times about this concept, this work, one of the video that we were practicing MCQs. So what did she criticizes the inability of option Option C, subaltern voices to be heard in dominant discourse. The lower class people's voice nobody heard. And if somebody will hear, it's difficult to respond on time. I don't know why this happens in our society. Why they don't treat everybody as just a human created by God. Next question you have. Homi Bhabha's concept of mimicry refers to option A, the faithful imitation of the colonizer's culture. Option B, a comic parody of British manners. Option C, a hybrid strategy that subverts colonial authority. And option D, a structuralist notion of reputation. What could be the correct answer? Homi K. Bhabha's concept of mimicry refers to which of the given options? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, a hybrid strategy that subverts colonial authority. Next question, let me see if there is difficult questions for you. Okay, this question. Which critic is associated with the concept of organic unity? Option A, Plato, B, Coleridge, C, Arnold, and the last option? Where is the last option? Horace. What could be the correct answer? Organic unity. So correct answer of this question is the organic unity. The concept is given by S.T. Coleridge. Let me see if there is difficult questions I have brought. Yes, this one. So the question 19, who emphasized moral and cultural values in his essay The Function of Criticism at the Present Time, 1865? Option A, T.S. Eliot, option B, Matthew Arnold, option C, John Ruskin, and option D, William Hazlitt. What could be the correct answer? You have to find out the writer, the critic who emphasized moral and cultural values, in his essay The Function of Criticism at the Present Time. So the correct answer of this question is option B, Matthew Arnold. Matthew Arnold in his work The Function of Criticism emphasizes on moral and cultural values. Next question, we find the difficult. This question is also important, everybody. Do not miss this. According to Aristotle, the three unities in drama are unity of action, time, and the third one you have to find. What could be the correct answer? Let me show you the option. Okay. So these are the option: theme, character, place, or Longinus. Sorry, language. What could be the correct answer? Unity and time it has given here, and you have to find the third unit that Aristotle gave. Correct answer of this question is C. It's simply, you can say, unity, unity, time and place. Whether it will become UTP or PTU or PTA, place, time and action, or simply you can just put time, place or action, that is TPA. Okay, so this is the three unity by Aristotle. Next question, this is also important. Which critic emphasized the tradition as a vital influence on the individual talent? You will remember. Option A, Longinus, B, Dryden, option C, T.S. Eliot, and option D, Philip Sidney. Tradition as a vital influence on the individual talent. Correct answer of this question is we just solved one of the questions related to this topic, T.S. Eliot. Next question. Let me find the difficult one. Yes, matching we can see. Okay. So match the following post-structuralist critic with their works. Option list 1 you have critics and list B you have works. Option 1 Roland Barthes, Jacques Derrida, Michael Foucault and Gayatri Spivak, and these are the works you have to find out to match the correct one. Let me show you the option. These are the options. You have seen the options. Now tell me what would be the correct answer. So the correct answer, if you'll find out, what could be the correct answer? Jacques Derrida we can match of grammatology. Roland Barthes we can the death of the author. Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. Option C, can the subaltern speak? And the last one we have Michael Foucault, what is an author? So what could be the correct answer? First B, first B, second A, third third D, and fourth sorry, and the fourth will be Gayatri Spivak C. So the option 1, 2, 3, 4, that is B, A, D, C. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option 1, B, D, A, C. B, A, D, C. This is the correct answer. Okay, so do remember and memorize this. Next question you have, match the critic with their century and concept. Option A, list 1 you have critics, and in the list B you have given the century and the concept. Option 1 Matthew Arnold, second T.S. Eliot, third I.A. Richard and fourth Clint Brooks. And there is the century and the work mentioned by concept given by them. Options you can see also. So what could be the correct answer? Let's try to match this. I.A. Richards practical criticism, that means we have to go to the A. There is only first A. Third A we have to find out. In the option A we can see third with A. Matthew Arnold, the function of criticism, first C. Yes, this is the correct answer. By guessing one or two the correct answer in the matching or chronology, this is how you can find the correct, every answer correct. First C, T.S. Eliot tradition and individual talent, D, and Clint Brooks well wrought, or B. This is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. Assertion and reason I have also brought. Each type of question I will make you practice, don't worry. So next question you have, assertion is saying Wordsworth believed that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, but reason is saying he argued that poetry should use the language of the common man. What could be the correct answer? Option A, both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B is saying both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation. C, A is true but R is false, and D, A is false but R is true. What could be the correct answer? Read the text. Wordsworth believed that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. That is absolutely correct. So let's see the correct answer. Correct answer of this question is option A, both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation. Okay, R is the correct explanation. He also argued that poetry should use the language of the common man. By using the common man's language, people will feel connected to the nature, to the text, to the literature. This is what he thought. Next question. Again, A session is saying T.S. Eliot rejected the romantic idea of poetry as the expression of emotion, and reason is saying that Eliot believed poetry should be guided by historical context and personal feeling. What could be the correct answer? See the options. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. This is A is true but R is false. Let's read the again. That means C. A is true. Assertion is true, but this is false. Why? T.S. Eliot rejected the romantic idea of poetry as the expression of emotion. Okay, and he believed poetry should be guided by historical context. That is false. Next question. Okay, this is also important. Which critic famously said there is no outside text? Option A Roland Barthes, option B Jacques Derrida, option C Michael Foucault, and option D Julia Kristeva. There is no outside text. Who said this? Correct answer of this question is option B Jacques Derrida. Let's move on to the next question. Find some difficult one. Okay, question number 30. Sorry. According to Northrop Frye, which archetype is associated with spring and comedy? Northrop Frye, accordingly, you have to find out that which archetype is associated with spring and comedy. Options you can see: irony, tragedy, romance, and rebirth. What could be the correct answer? So the correct answer of this question is option D, rebirth. Option D, rebirth. Next question. You have seen this, no? Next question. Okay, this. In which term did Raymond Williams describe as one of the most complicated words in the English language? Option A, ideology. Option B, culture. Option C, class. And option D, discourse. What, according to Raymond Williams, he found that most complicated words in the English language. Among these options, what could be the answer? What did he found the most difficult, most complicated? Correct answer of this question is option B, culture. This is what he found as complicated. Next question. Okay. Next question you have in Biographia Literaria, Coleridge distinguishes between imagination and fancy. Which of the following correctly represents his definitions? Option A, imagination is mechanical, fancy is organic. Option B is saying fancy is the faculty of choice, imagination is associative. Option C, fancy is a mode of memory, imagination is creative. Option D, imagination is passive and fancy is dynamic. This is very important. You have to find the correct definitions according to according to S.T. Coleridge in his distinction between imagination and fancy, what he has given. The correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. Fancy is a mode of memory and imagination is creative, right? Next question, everybody. Next question you have, in the function of criticism at the present time, Matthew Arnold argues that the primary role of the critic is to option A, provide moral instruction through art. Option B, analyze the language of poetry. Option C, create fresh ideas and pass judgments. And option D, disseminate the best that is known and thought in the world. You have to find the correct answer. That Matthew Arnold argues primary role of the critic should be what? Please subscribe also. What could be the correct answer? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option D, disseminate at the best that is known and thought in the world. Next question, impersonal theory you have given. Next question, this one. Which literary critic claimed all art is quite useless and in which work? You have to guess the correct answer that which literary critic declared that all art is useless and in which work this thought he gave. Option A, Oscar Wilde, The Soul of Man Under Socialism. Option B, Walter Pater, The Renaissance. Option C, Oscar Wilde, Preface to the Picture of Dorian Gray. And option D, Matthew Arnold, Culture and Anarchy. All art is quite useless. Who said this? Which critic? So the correct answer of this question is option C. Oscar Wilde said this in which work? Preface to the Picture of Dorian Gray. In this work he said this, that all art is useless. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Let me see. Okay, next question. I will share this PDF, you will read. Let me find that. Okay, this question. In which of the following critics introduce the notion of negative capability and what does it signify? Option A, Wordsworth, the ability to create moral certainty through poetry. Option B, Coleridge, a balance between imagination and reason. Option C, Keats, the capacity to dwell in uncertainty and doubt without seeking facts or reason. And option D, Arnold, the resistance to romantic idealism in criticism. What could be the correct answer? Negative capability, you know who gave this concept and term. Option C, Keats, the capacity to dwell in uncertainty and doubt without seeking facts or reason. That is the negative capability according to John Keats. Next question. See the question number 39. Which of the following statements correctly describe Derrida's notion of deconstruction? Option A, it is a method for uncovering universal truth in literary text. Option B is saying it aims to recover authorial intention through linguistic clarity. Option meaning is always different in language and can never be fixed. And option D is saying it advocates for a structural understanding of myths and archetypes. What could be the correct answer? The statements that correctly describe Derrida's notion of deconstruction. Deconstruction. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. It emphasizes that meaning is always differed. That means different. That is why he gave the concept of difference in language and can never be fixed. This is what he said. Next question. Let me see if there is any important questions for you. All the questions are important. I will share this PDF. Yes, this one. Question number 42. In The Mirror and the Lamp, M.H. Abraham proposes a model of literary criticism that involves four coordinates. Which of the following is not one of them? Four coordinates that has mentioned in given option, you have to eliminate that is not part of the four coordinates by M.H. Abraham. Option A, the work. Option B, the universe. And option C, the author. And option D, the publisher. What could be the correct answer? Four coordinates, if you know, you can easily eliminate the wrong option. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option D, the publisher. That means work is there, universe is there, the author is there, and the publisher is not there. Next question. Next question, you can see in Orientalism 1978, Edward Said argues that Western scholarship on the East was option A, objective and scholarly, option B, grounded in empirical truth, option C, constructed through a colonial lens to justify domination, and option D, focused primarily on language and symbolism. What could be the correct answer? In Orientalism, it's a very popular work by Edward Said. In this work, he argues that Western scholarship on the East was what, according to you, could be the correct answer. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. He constructed through a colonial lens to justify domination. Let me see if there is any question important for you. This question number 44. Terry Eagleton's literary theory and introduction in 1983 criticizes which notion? Option A, that all literature can be objectively analyzed. Option B, the literature is simply a reflection of emotion. Option C, the formalism is sufficient without ideology. And option D, that poetry must have rhyme and meter. What Terry Eagleton said in his work Literary Theory and Introduction. What did he criticize? So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C, that formalism is sufficient without ideology. Next question. This question is also important. Sorry. Which of the following critic aligns with feminist literary criticism, particularly known for co-authoring The Mad Woman in the Attic? Option A, Sandra Gilbert and Susan Goober. Option B, Judith Butler and Simone de Beauvoir. Option C, Ellen Sholter and Lucy Irigaray. Option D, Toroy Moy and Helen Zios. What could be the correct answer? Co-author of the work Mad Woman in the Attic. Correct answer of this question is, I have already posted a question on this. So option A, Sandra Gilbert and Susan Goober is the correct answer. Next question. Next question you have, Harold Bloom's theory of the anxiety of influence suggests, this is the PYQ. December. Option A, writers are motivated solely by tradition. Option B, poets feel creatively liberated by their predecessors. Option C, poets struggle with the burden of influence from strong precursors. And option D, the critic's role is to eliminate subjectivity. What does it mean? Harold Bloom's theory of the anxiety of influence suggests. What suggests? From the options given below. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option C. Poets struggle with the burden of influence from strong precursors. Okay, this is the correct answer. If there is any important last question. Which of the following critic is known for advancing reader response theory, emphasizing that meaning is created by the reader's interpretation? What could be the correct answer? Option A, Harold Bloom. Option B, Wolfgang Iser. Option C, Northrop Frye. And option D, where is option D? Stanley Fish. Find the correct answer. Reader response theory and implied reader. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the option B, Wolfgang Iser. This is all for today. This question you have already faced. Okay, there is no such questions. Okay, so this is all for today, everybody. I hope you have understood the concept of literary criticism in literature, why we study. To judge others text on the basis of our own opinion and perception, view and analyze. How we analyze, this is what we study in literary criticism. Okay, so thank you for today. If you have liked the session, do like, share and subscribe, and also press the bell icon to get all the latest informations and post updates. Now we have left only 2 units, that is Unit 9 Literary Theory Post World War and Unit 10 research method and materials in English. I will finish these two units in this week. So till then, do prepare, keep preparing well, and if you have any suggestions, queries, feel free to let me know by commenting. Okay. So till then, do take care of yourself, and take care, and bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.